So the Suga Show has taken a break, but the Chito Show has just begun. All aboard the Chito train. Choo choo!
That or excuse me, the ref wanted to make sure that the fighter was safe because of the Come on. Congratulations! Come down. The Chito Show, he says.
That was awkward. But yeah, amazing performance by Chito Vera this past UFC event. I already covered it in my fight analysis video, post-fight analysis, where I mentioned how I'm sort of the new Mystic Mac, because I mean my predictions were crazy, but they were pretty much on point in terms of both fights. I predicted there was going to be the battle of the eye pokes, and I also perceived, I mean, to be fair, as many, there could be the end of the hype train. But yeah, so today we're gonna find out who is Marlon Chito Vera. So who he is, he's a martial artist that made his first appearance in The Ultimate Fighter Latin America. He's a black belt in Jiu-Jitsu. He's had 15 fights total in the UFC. He won 6 of them by TKO and 5 of them by submission. The guy's a killer. He can clearly finish fights. He also has quite a few fights that went to the decision. Some of those he won and some of them he lost. And when I watched the fight, his fight against O Malley, what I saw in my head was Till versus Masvidal. It literally reminded me, because Till had all the hype, just like O Malley had. O Malley had even more hype than Till coming into his fight against Masvidal. And yeah, I'm gonna talk about that later, how his journey, how his resurrection is really similar to the one of Masvidal. But so the previous fight before O Malley, he lost to a decision, and in my humble opinion, I think that did more good to him than bad. Just the same way Masvidal lost so sort of unfairly, lost so many decisions, and that made him change his mindset, change his game plan, and go for the finish every time, start baptizing people. But yeah, so I feel like the same thing could have happened to Chito Vera after his previous fight. And who knows what would have happened if he had won that decision where 99% of the people thought he actually won. If he was fighting O Malley right now, it seems like that still would have been a pretty good match, and like a reasonable test for O Malley in UFC's point of view. So they could have still met. But I feel like, yeah, something changed in Chito's brain just the same way it changed in Masvidal's and made him like into a killer, as I said. Yeah, it's awesome how it affected both fighters. And yeah, there's something really similar to both of them, Masvidal and Chito. I feel like if they trained together or just hung out together, like first of all, that would be hilarious. Like that would be content that would sell both of their upcoming fights, and yeah, that would just be entertaining. But I feel like both of them could give each other sort of life lessons, and yeah, just they would both get something from each other. Yeah, it'd be so cool if they were sparring partners or whatnot. Hopefully they wouldn't kill each other during training, but who knows. So yeah, there are two big things what makes Chito Vera special. And the first one is, as he calls it, the immigrant mentality.
I remember a long time ago they talk about the immigrant mentality, and I captured that pretty good, because that's me right there. That's the meaning of being myself, you know. Coming from a small town in Ecuador, moving to California, my whole family, buying a house and keep going forward, trying to achieve my dreams and keep my family safe and happy. Those things is what I am. I'm an immigrant, and I'm somebody that came to this country to take advantage for good, not for the bad, and just work hard. Work hard will always pay off.
And he's a huge fan of Joe Rogan's show, so it makes sense why he would talk about it and why he would relate to that. And it's so cool seeing a top fighter, like a high level, being a fan of Joe Rogan and getting inspired from him, just like the rest of us mortals.
Chito, I think a lot of people were going crazy about how honest you were that Joe Rogan's advice on his podcast helped you out. Can you tell us a couple more things you've gotten from listening to Joe Rogan?
I think Joe Rogan pumped me up pretty good. The way he talks about inspiration, motivation, hard work, and stuff like that. That's something that I really admire from him. He seems to be like a solid guy. And, when he talks about things like that, he's a pretty good motivator. The way he says, conquer your inner bitch, push yourself.
But yeah, so what does it mean for him to be an immigrant? First of all, he's grateful for every given opportunity. So he is grateful that he was given this fight. He didn't necessarily ask for it, and obviously he accepted. And his motivation was like, okay, I got this fight. They expect me to be my best, to show all my skills, and that's what motivated him to win. And besides many things, feeding his family being one of them. Yeah, O Malley used a different strategy. He went into this fight making the stakes so high, setting the bar so high that, like, yeah, all he was talking about, how he's gonna knock him out in the first round, he was just talking shit so much that, like, he would hate himself for the rest of his life if he lost. And he did lose, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but yeah, unless in his mind he's gonna be able to convince himself that it was a fluke, that Chito got lucky, and etc., etc. And besides the awesome immigrant mentality that he has, is the thing that I talked about, is the connection with Masvidal and the mental and physical decision changing in training. Sort of like, okay, I gotta start finishing these guys, just like he was at the beginning of his career. And he clearly has the potential, and now he just had to sort of switch some things up in his mind. And obviously it worked, and I can't wait to see him in his upcoming fights. So, what's next for the one and only Chito Vera? He has been talking a lot about his fight against Jimmy Rivera, which was cancelled. They were supposed to fight, and that's an awesome fight, don't get me wrong. But I do think that Chito's success, like him beating such a famous person, everyone was behind him, I feel like he can have a better fight, I don't know, more entertaining perhaps. And the one fight that I would be really interested with, I would put anyone against the guy that I'm gonna tell you, and it'd be interesting. But it's Uriah Faber. As I said, you can put anyone against him, and it'd be interesting from the promotion side to the fight side to everything else. But yeah, he's a legend, and it'd be actually pretty competitive in my opinion. I would slightly favor Faber, but not by much. If he were to take Chito Vera to the ground, because Uriah is an awesome wrestler, who knows what would happen? He might as well get submitted by a triangle choke or something. It would be a great challenge for both of them. It would definitely be an accomplishable challenge for Chito. And yeah, I'd still put my money on Uriah, but that would be an awesome fight. If Chito were to win, he would be in the title, in the talks for a title fight really quickly. Perhaps one more fight, perhaps not, but because Raya Faber just fought for the title, and yeah, that would just be an awesome fight. So I'm still not at the level of straight talk like Chael Sonnen, just ranting and so on. I tried to make as few cuts making this video as possible. Again, I'm still not at the level of the one and only Chael Sonnen, but yeah, I tried to make as few stoppages as possible. Sorry if that sounded way too condescending. Sorry if my language has a lot of, so I'm still new at this. I seem to do, like, if I cut myself, that sounded even weirder. If I edit the videos quite vigorously, then it takes me a lot of time, but I do sound more, you can understand what I'm saying more clearly, what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm gonna try to make this as seamless as possible so that my upcoming videos will not be edited as much, but will still involve sort of straight talk ranting, because I like to rant. I don't mind putting it online, and if you guys love it, that's all the better. So Chito Vera, what did you think of his last fight? Did you think it was a fluke? Did you think he deserved it? I don't think you. I feel like you must be O Malley's fanboy, which I don't see a problem with that. To say that it was all luck, like every fighter comes into the fight with strengths and weaknesses. O Malley's weakness was found in this fight. He needs to do something different with either his nutrition or his training and gain some muscle on that, like put on some weight. But yeah, like, he's just too fragile. He's quick, he's dynamic and everything, but he does have a weakness. Chito's kicks are superb, and his calves are obviously stronger than O Malley's. So yeah, I'm not surprised the fight ended the way it did. The problem I have is that, as I said, O Malley's weakness has just been found, and like, who's stopping his other opponents from doing the same calf kick and yeah, making O Malley leave on a stretcher, which that was embarrassing to everyone. Like, to the people involved with the organization, to the fans, and yeah, I feel like he perhaps felt that if he didn't leave on a stretcher, then everybody would think that he quit, which, I mean, to be fair, you did. But yeah, I wasn't in that fight. I wasn't kicked in my calf, so what can I say? If you find these MMA deep dives useful in any way, then go like, subscribe, share with your friends, family, people interested in martial arts, and because I'm excited to do this stuff, and if you like them, all the better. So that'll be it for today, and I see you guys later. Peace.